Hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is your friendly neighborhood Oxhorn. I've got a great show for you today. This is episode 418 of Scotch and Smoke Rings. And never fear, the hiccups from yesterday will not appear today. I had a bit of an issue. If you were here for last week's show, we went to go play some Metro, and it kept crashing, and I had to keep restarting because the quality was really poor. And I ended up discovering that it was a conflict between the broadcasting software I was using at the time, XSplit, I don't recommend them, and the game. So I switched broadcasting softwares. I'm now using Open Broadcast software, and I did a bunch of testing this morning, and it is working perfectly. It's just so beautiful. So, I'm really excited to be able to actually have functioning software for a smooth broadcast today. So, thanks for being patient. Thanks for showing up last week. I'll make it up for you this week today with a great broadcast of Metro. But first, of course, we have the Q&A here at Scotch and Smoke Rings, and today we have a host of moderators who will be looking at the chat and fielding your questions to me. Say hello, moderators.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen.
They have graciously donated their time to this broadcast to make it go by even more smoothly. If you've been watching for a while, you know that in the past, it's been hard for me to sift through all of the comments because they start to fly by very quickly. So more eyes on the comments means I will be answering more comments today. Now, there is, of course, the big elephant in the room. Where was my video today? Yeah, well, sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. I meant to do a video today. I worked really hard to get a video done today. But it was one of those things where I worked all day yesterday, come around 11 o'clock at night, I was falling asleep at my computer, hitting my head on this keyboard, and I had to make a choice. Do I power through it, or do I get some sleep? And I chose to get some sleep. So I woke up this morning to work on the video, and I just couldn't get it done. I got it done at around 11 o'clock this morning, but then YouTube told me that it was going to be 2 hours to upload, then 1 hour to process, and the day is nearly done by that point. So I'm saving it for tomorrow. But the positive side to that is that it is an epic video. I think you guys are really going to like it. It's over an hour long. It's on one of the most requested quests from Fallout 3 that you guys have been asking me about. So I'm really excited to be showing that to you tomorrow. But it did mean that I had to spend extra time on it, so no video today. But that has freed me up since I got my video for tomorrow done by around noon today. I've been able to use today to troubleshoot my broadcast so that things will be going smoother, and I've been shooting footage for Friday's video, or no, today's Thursday, so for Saturday's video is going to be a lot of fun as well. It's going to be a New Vegas video on one of the most highly requested side factions in Fallout New Vegas. So lots of great content that I've got scheduled for all of you today. Also, I'm back with the cigars today. It's been a while since I've had a cigar on the program, and I decided, why not? It's the middle of August, one of the hottest days in the year for this location. I don't know if you know, but Seattle is in the middle of a heat wave. There's an emergency heat warning in effect in Seattle, and it is complicated by wildfires raging in Canada. So Canada, as many of you know, is America's hat. I'm sorry to all of the Canadians. I shouldn't have said that. That was very rude. But Canada is at the top, and it's, where I'm living, it's really close. I'm just a short drive away from Canada, and there are over 24 wildfires raging in beautiful British Columbia right now, and the smoke is blowing south. So if you were to take a look at some live webcams of downtown Seattle right now, you would see this blue haze everywhere because the entire city is submerged in smoke from Canada. Now this smoke is shielding the area from some of the sun, which means that it's a few degrees cooler than it otherwise would have been. But it also means that at night, it's keeping a lot of that heat in. So the nights are a couple of degrees warmer than they otherwise would be. And it's an unusually hot summer for the Seattle region. I believe it's 87 degrees right now. I realize that many of you who live in the Midwest are probably going, 87 degrees. or who live in the South are probably thinking that that's ridiculous. But Seattle, you have to remember, is in the Pacific Northwest. We're not used to this kind of heat. You know, it's such that most houses are not built with air conditioning in this area because there's no need for it. We only get 2 or 3 days that are this hot, so we don't need air conditioning, which of course means I've got this big fan in my window. That is why the curtain is flapping. I'm trying to cool down with this fan I've got going in my window. So let me know in the chat if it's too loud and it's interfering with the broadcast, and I'll turn it off and then proceed to sweat profusely because of it. But let's see if I can light the cigar with the fan blowing on it. Oh, look at that. And we're golden. So if you watched last week, you know that I finished off my bottle of Scotch. It was my Glenlivet. I had a bottle of Glenlivet, and I ran out of Scotch. And so my wife was going shopping, and she says, well, you need more Scotch. And I said, surprise me. Because I realized that she has a wonderful palate and a great taste in Scotches. And she did not disappoint. She came back with this 14-year-old bottle of Glenfiddich. And if any of you have had Glenfiddich, you know that it tastes like a campfire, which is exactly what I like. Well, not as much as Lafroig. Lafroig is a very peaty Scotch. But this is certainly a peaty Scotch, and I do love my peaty Scotches. But the heat, I just dumped some ice in this glass, and it's already melted. That's how hot it is. So I'm going to sip this down real quick. Because we do not want to water down our Scotch just yet. And then we can open up this brand new bottle of 14-year-old Glenfiddich. Here's the noise. Here's the $40 noise. That's what I like to hear. Why not? We're having a party. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm boozed up, I'm tobaccoed up, and we've got about 30 minutes or so to answer your questions before we dive into Metro 2033. So, I'm going to hand the floor over to our fabulous mods, who are going to be reading your questions and giving them to me. The floor is yours, gentlemen.
So we have actually been surprisingly flooded with questions this week straight away, which is nice. We've had a tip come in from Commander Zoot Helsing, who says, Oxhorn, you gorgeous man, long-time fan but lost my old account. How did you grow your beard? I'm struggling to replicate it as I love the look.
Well, thank you. Gorgeous. I don't hear that often, but I'll take it. You want to call me gorgeous? I'm not going to complain. That's okay. I won't accuse you of lying. The thing is that I own a beard website. So if you don't know, what I did before my YouTube channel is I did a beard website. Got pretty popular, still gets a lot of traffic. It's called growabeardnow.com. If you ever need beard advice, go to that website. I talk about the products you need. I even have guides on how to grow your beard faster. My guides are some of the top Google results on how to grow a beard, so check it out. That's my website. All of your answers are there. But to make a long story short, it's mainly up to genetics, which we have little control over. Some people just won't be able to grow beards. Just a fact of life. And I know it's sad. I really do. I mean, I feel like a rich man, bathing in his money, wiping away his tears with Delabier's going, it must be horrible being poor. Right? Because here I am in all of my splendor thinking, oh, those poor, baby-faced boys. But I do pity the young male that cannot grow a beard, which is why I made my beard website. Anyway, really all you can do aside, if you have the genetics that don't allow you to grow amazing face follicles, or allow your follicles to grow amazing beard hairs, if you sadly cannot grow a beard, there are a couple things you can do, but they all revolve around your health, which is something I don't really have a stance to talk about. I'm not the healthiest guy, but if you work on your health, that's the best way to grow a beard. Exercise, low caloric intake, and lots of protein. Protein helps with beard growth. And increased blood vessel flow to the follicle improves your beard growth as well, making sure that the capillaries have plenty of blood, which it requires a strong heart, pumping a lot of highly oxygenated blood to your face. It's going to help your follicles produce more hair. And if you've done all of that and you still can't get it to work, there are products out there that can force your follicles to grow. And I mentioned them on that website. So there you go. That's my answer. Scotch.
We've had a number of people asking as well. Ox, where are your suspenders this evening?
Well, it's a hot day. It's a hot day. Maybe I'm wearing shorts. Maybe I'm not wearing shorts. You never know. It's one of those things where I have the freedom at this moment to, since you can only see from, the chest area up, I could be wearing a tutu for all you know. It's quite possible. But needless to say, whatever garment of clothing I am wearing from the waist down do not require suspenders at this moment, which means I'm not wearing suspenders at this moment. I need the breeze. It's the breeze. It's a hot day. What can I say?
You've got to let the air flow a little bit.
You gotta have the airflow.
McLovin Sexy Cheeseburger, who I think only has the name to hear someone say it, asks, Ox, what is your favourite companion perk? And why?
My favorite companion perk is Cass's whiskey perk. And I only say that because I guess maybe that's the first one that came to mind because I'm working on a bunch of content for Cass. But I just love the idea of having a perk that requires you to drink whiskey. You no longer suffer the ill effects of drinking whiskey, but you get all of the wonderful bonuses of drinking whiskey. And if you're drunk on whiskey, you get a special combat ability. So I'm going to go with Cass's perk for now.
So we've got another tip coming from Sargothi, who says, I was going to use this money to buy Jet, but I'll give it to you just to ask 5 months later now, will you please give this War of Mine a try?
I've heard a lot about This War Is Mine. Probably from you. I'm sure that it's probably you who's been posting those comments on my YouTube videos about This War Is Mine. But to answer the question, I'd love to check it out. There are a lot of games out there that I know I would love to play, and many of my viewers recommend games that they think I would love to play. But I sadly can't play them all because I'm really focused on all of my Fallout videos right now. Now, if there ever is a time when I slow down on making my Fallout videos, then I'll have the luxury to play other games. But that time is not now. Right now I'm focused on Fallout. So I'm making a mental note of This War Is Mine, putting a pin in it, saving it for later, and I'll revisit that when the time is right.
Jacob Prowler also gave you a tip and asks, do you have a box so your fans can actually send you things? I'm assuming it's a PO box.
I used to, a while ago, many years ago, but I moved a few years ago, and since I moved, I didn't make a new PO box. So no, I don't have a publicly available address where people can send me things right now. But that may change in the future, and if it does, I'll let you know.
You can be flooded with free cigars.
I was for many years. It was great. Cigar Ox, I don't know if he's watching, but Cigar Ox and Shawarma, they would send me cigars all the time. It was wonderful.
TM Wrath also tipped and said, loves your stream. He has one question. Have you had any issues with mods or the game which caused your PC to reboot? Do you have any way to fix it?
Well,
as wide as the question as that is.
It's tragic when I get questions like that. As much as I sympathize, it's one of those things where every computer is its own unique ecosystem. You know how every human being has their own gut flora, right? They've got their own colony of bacteria growing within their bowels. And it's like a fingerprint. It's unique to each human being. A PC is similar. Every person's PC, it's got its own unique quirks and demons and hardware and software. And I hate to be the one to compare a PC to a human being's bowels, but that's the comparison I'm making live on this program right now, so we're just going to go with it. And it's one of those things where my solution might not work for yours, and I have absolutely no idea why your computer is crashing when you use mods, nor is there any way I could ever possibly know why your computer is crashing when you use mods. My only recommendation would be to go through your mods one by one and turn them off. Whenever I have a mod conflict, the way I diagnose it and figure out which mod is causing the problem is I deactivate all of my mods just to verify that the mod is truly the issue. If the game starts up with all of my mods turned off, then I know that it is. Then I only reactivate half of them. If it starts up, then it tells me that the problem mod was in the half that I didn't deactivate. If it doesn't start up, then it tells me that the problem mod is in that half that I turned active. Then I can just do the half test over and over and over again until I get a progressively smaller and smaller and smaller group of mods, which is an easier way of whittling down which mod is causing the conflict, rather than turning them on one by one, because that would just take magnitudes longer time. So sadly, you are just going to have to go through them one by one and figure it out. That's all I can recommend.
I would probably suggest load order as a slight piggyback on that as well.
Loot.
Ghost 007C asks, what is your favourite mini story in Fallout 4? Things such as the Fens Phantom or the Mayor's Bunker.
Oh, great question. My favorite mini story? Well, there are so many side stories not part of the plot that are a lot of fun. The first one that comes to mind is the last voyage of the USS Constitution. I had a lot of fun with that quest. I did a big video on it, ended up being about an hour long, that video. The robots are funny, the ship is spectacular, it's not involved in the main storyline in any way, it just exists as this side quest just for you to stumble upon and enjoy. And it's great, everything about it is great. I'd say that one so far.
Bravo Actual asks, is the Enclave evil?
Yeah. Now, I have to admit, when I'm playing Fallout 3, I love listening to Enclave radio. There's just something about Malcolm McDowell's voice. That is Malcolm McDowell, right? I'm getting Clockwork Orange flashbacks by listening to Enclave radio on Fallout 3. He's got such a great voice. Anyway, and plus, what he talks about is wonderful. He's talking about the beauty of baseball and how American it is. And just my American pride bolsters up, and gosh, But then I take a look at what the Enclave has actually done. And especially if you've played Fallout 2. Not to give away any spoilers to those of you who have not played Fallout 2, but let's just say that one of the opening scenes... Okay, it's not much of a spoiler. The very opening scene of Fallout 2 is the Enclave arriving at Vault 13 and massacring its residents. Just massacring them. And I don't care their reasons. I don't want to hear their reasons. Don't try and explain to me their reasons. There are no good reasons for massacring an entire vault filled with people, including the women and children. So, yeah. Now, of course, I need more sophisticated thoughts on this. I need to go through many of the Enclave quests in Fallout 3. I will dedicate a series of videos to all of that, never fear. But, no, they're not good. And yes, they are evil. Are they as evil as the Legion? It's worth exploring. I've got lots of time. We'll explore that in full detail, never fear.
One of the patrons, Luke S, asks, I want to see if Ox sees the introduction of fiat currency, such as the NCR or Legion money, as a sign of progress or a bad idea.
Okay, repeat that. Sorry, I missed a key part of that sentence.
You would like to see how you view the introduction of fiat currency, so the NCR dollars or Legion denarius, I believe, as a sign of progress, or do you think it's a move back towards the old world and so forth?
Well, I think a move back towards the old world would be a sign of progress. There was a lot of good about the pre-war world in America. There was a lot of bad, and I have spent a great deal of time narrating the bad in gory details in all of my videos. So I'm very aware of the bad of the pre-war world, but there was also a lot of good. And especially when it comes to infrastructure and a lot of the achievements that America was able to make. I mean, the very fact that people could have a bowling team without fear of showing up to go bowling and being killed by raiders is a testament to the peacekeeping abilities of pre-war America. So going back to a paper currency is not necessarily bad, and I also don't think it's recessive. That said, I don't think the culture is really there yet. Most people are using caps, and the problem with using the paper money of the NCR or the Legion Denaries, I don't know how to pronounce it, is that they're not valued the same way. And this is one of the things that if you go to that quarry right outside Quarry Junction, Sloan. If you go to Sloan in Fallout New Vegas and you talk to the construction worker there, he complains about being paid in NCR dollars because the NCR really wants their currency to be valued as much as caps. And so when they pay their people in a traditional wage that you would normally get in caps, they pay in NCR dollars. But the public doesn't value NCR dollars the way that the NCR wants them to. So the transfer rate between NCR dollars and bottle caps is really low. So you would only be able to exchange, 300 NCR dollars for what? 70 bottle caps or something like that. So it ends up being a deflated currency. And that's a problem with the economy. So I would much prefer that everybody used a standard currency just so that people are paid a fair wage and there's less room for corruption until a dominant currency or a dominant faction is able to exert their force on the free market to change that currency into something else, right? To offer a one-on-one exchange between bottle caps and the NCR dollar, and to uphold it with some sort of fail-safe system. But yeah, that's an interesting topic for a video. Maybe I should explore that in another video. Great question.
Another tip here from Chris Rhodes, who says, "Hey Oxhorn, recently subbed and I love your content. Actually bought Fallout 4 because of your mod coverage. Do you have a
computer, little girl?" Come on. What? Gwendolyn. What did you say? Woodpecker? There's no woodpecker.
Yeah, it's a pecker.
There's no woodpecker.
Says stay a pecker.
Oh, you see your picture?
Yeah.
Is that what it is? Okay.
This is my picture.
Is that your picture? Who's that? Is that Gwen?
That's
Yeah.
my Demi.
Are you in your...
My Betty.
Come on now. Okay, Daddy's working. Go upstairs to Mom. Come on, go upstairs to Mom. Come on, go. No more picture, okay? Gwendolyn, I need you to go upstairs. I need you to go upstairs to your mother, okay? Okay, have some kisses. Now go upstairs and close the door. Close the door. Thank you. All the way. She's excited. She snuck in on my live stream when I was doing some testing for this new setup, and she saw herself on the camera, and she got excited. I'm sorry. I got distracted. What was the question again?
your personal favorite mod for Fallout 4?
Personal favorite mod in Fallout 4? Tough question, because I'd have to choose between a utilitarian mod that I use every single day or a fun and crazy zany mod that I just thought was hilarious. I'm gonna go with hilarious. Okay, I've got a tie. I've got a tie for my favorite mod. There's the Writable Giddy Up Buttercup, which, and both of these are by the same author, by the way, by M150 for Fallout 4, which, it's just the best vehicle. I've installed and played a bunch of vehicle mods in Fallout 4, and this Writable Buttercup, Giddy Up Buttercup, handles better than any of the vehicles from any of those mods. So it was exceptionally well done, and it's silly hilarious, and a lot of fun to use. That and another mod he did is Super Mutant Clothing. I did a mod review on the Super Mutant Clothing way back when I first started doing mod reviews, and the Super Mutant Clothing is hilarious. I mean, they've got Super Mutant afros. It's brilliant. I would say those two are some of my favorite mods. I would never have them in a serious playthrough, but they're a lot of fun.
So Diva, another one of our patrons, and Discord regular, I believe, asks, do you think the NCR and Brotherhood of Steel are inevitably going to end in conflict for control of America?
Yeah, probably. It's one of those things where, knowing the NCR, they would be perfectly content to allow the Brotherhood of Steel to have their little bunker and to hoard their little technology as long as they want. But the Brotherhood of Steel, depending upon its leader, part of their mantra is to take advanced technology from other people. If they think you can't handle that technology, they're going to take it from you. And they're going to do what they can to keep it out of your hands. Which is why the peaceful ending to New Vegas, where the NCR and the Brotherhood of Steel are allies, is only available if McNamara is the Elder. If Hardin is the Elder, Hardin is the guy who's more loyal to the original precepts of the Brotherhood. He's more hard-nosed and a hardline guy. He just, even though it's going to equal his own destruction, he just can't see an alliance with the NCR because the NCR would not use technology the way that they want them to. They're so caught up on this technology thing that they can't be diplomatic, which is a big weakness for the faction. Which is why when you have a decent Elder in charge, whether it's McNamara after you convince him or Elder Lyons, all of that goes away. But they have to ignore that part of the Brotherhood code in order to maintain that kind of peace, which is why the Outcasts came to be to begin with. The Outcasts are the ones who actually adhered to what the Brotherhood is all about, right? Elder Lyons is the radical, but he's also the good guy providing water to people who need it, instead of hoarding the technology that makes water safe just for the Brotherhood, which is what the Outcasts would have done. So, yeah, I do think conflict between the NCR and the Brotherhood is inevitable if the Brotherhood were to follow their own laws. But if you have an Elder who's a little bit more rational or radical, like Lyons or McNamara, then there can be peace.
So another tip from Dover Potato. He says, hi Oxhorn, haven't been able to watch your videos for the past 2 weeks. Sorry. Apparently he feels the need to apologise. But are you aware there is a loot crate released that is Fallout themed?
I've heard about it. I haven't got it myself, but I did hear about it. I'll have to check it out. In fact, I'll Google it right now.
Another question from Luke S. on here says, given that we are 200 years post-war, what are some things you would expect to have seen happen socially, physically, and so forth that has not yet happened in Fallout units? Or should I rephrase, is there anything that surprises you that you do not see in Fallout?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot that surprises me. I guess the main thing would be the great difference between the East Coast and the West Coast. On the West Coast, you find powers trying to rebuild society that have been somewhat successful. I mean, if you talk with Alice, in charge of the Crimson Caravan Company in New Vegas, she's a white-collar employee. She wears a suit every day. She goes to the office every day. She's in New Vegas right now only because that branch of the Crimson Caravan Company is not performing very well. But in her real life, back west in California, she wears high heels. She goes to the office. She's basically an office worker like anyone else in a modern-day world. So society is being rebuilt by the NCR on the West Coast. But there's nothing like that on the East Coast at all. All of the factions there are hiding underground or keeping to themselves. The only faction even wanting to rebuild society is the Minutemen, and when you arrive in Fallout 4, there's only one Minuteman left. So it's like the great difference between the East Coast and the West Coast is striking. How could the West Coast have the NCR, which is so incredibly successful, as corrupt as they can be and as bureaucratic as they can be? One cannot deny that they're incredibly successful. Even the Van Graffs are terrified of them. The Van Graffs have been around for a very long time. They're one of the largest crime families in existence, and they were growing in prominence at about the same time that the NCR was. They kind of grew side by side, but the NCR exploded in power and in numbers, whereas the Van Graff family, because they were tied to their own family mob-like architecture, grew much more slowly. So it's the Legion is trying, but they're nowhere near building infrastructure and rebuilding culture and society. They exist to burn things, and there's nothing that even remotely comes close to the NCR on the West Coast. So that would be the biggest thing that surprises me. Another thing that surprises me just about the land in general is how highly irradiated everything is after 200 years. That's something people, even the developers, admit doesn't make a lot of sense. If you take a look at the art of Fallout 3, even in the art of Fallout 3, the developers admitted that in the real world, a lot of the radiation wouldn't be so toxic as we find it in the game. I mean, just take a look at Nagasaki and Hiroshima today. There are plenty of people living there in good comfort. So that part of it is a little bit unrealistic. The fact that there's so much radiation that is keeping society from healing is a little bit surprising. But when it comes to things like that, you just have to suspend disbelief for a moment, because that's the laws of the world.
Another question from Heave Ho, who says, what do you think of characters such as Tenpenny, who hint at worlds outside of the continental US? UK?
Great question. I love Tenpenny. I mean, I hate Tenpenny. He's a disgusting human being, but I love Tenpenny. I love the fact that he's an adventurer, that he's gone to many different places, that he hired 5 mercenaries to go into Fort Constantine so that he could get some sort of epic piece of loot. I think guys like Tenpenny are fascinating. Guys like Lorenzo Cabot are also fascinating, because Lorenzo Cabot went on a big, well, that was before the war, right? So, yeah, he was trapped for a long time. Well, I guess not Lorenzo Cabot, but his son. If you side with his son instead of freeing Lorenzo Cabot, he talks about continuing to go on expeditions before he becomes old. But yeah, the idea of Tenpenny going overseas on all sorts of crazy expeditions makes you really wonder. And also, where do all these foreign accents come from? You've got Kate in Fallout 4 with a thick Irish accent. You've got Dukov in Fallout 3, with a thick Slavic accent. I find it hard to believe that those thick accents would remain so regionally specific, undiluted after 200 years. Which,
I do believe, sorry to interrupt, I do believe Tenpenny is confirmed to be from Britain. I don't think he's born in the US.
Right. Yeah, the Fallout 3 strategy guide lists him as an Englishman. So all of these things are telling us that there is transatlantic travel. There has to be transatlantic travel in the Fallout universe. But we don't, we've even been to the East Coast, and we don't see great transatlantic slave ships, maybe, or carrier vessels. It's a great question. I would love to have that answered in a future Fallout.
Another tip comment here from, I'm probably going to butcher this name, Jalazian, who says, do you play games other than first-person shooters?
Hey, how does the audio sound, Rev? I'm seeing a lot of comments saying that the audio went bad.
You are sounding fine on my end, but...
Fine on your end?
Issue?
Any other mods? Clockwork. How does it sound on your end?
It sounds fine. I just think Rev kind of spliced it a bit there with something, but otherwise it's fine.
Everyone on YouTube is saying that I sound robotic. But you both are listening to me and I sound fine?
Smooth as silk.
Smooth as silk! Alright, I love that. Alright, let me just hop onto YouTube really quick. And listen to my
Everyone
voice.
seems to be suggesting you might be the fan. Although,
How does it sound on your end?
It sounds fine. I just think Rev kind of spliced it a bit there with something, but otherwise it's fine.
Everyone on YouTube is saying that I sound robotic. Yeah, okay.
Actually, now you are starting to sound a bit robotic.
Yeah, listening to myself talk does sound a little bit robotic. Well, let me see if I can fix that. Check, 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 check. Check, check, check. There. I don't know what I'm doing. There, I pushed a lot of buttons.
It's typically my way of solving technical problems.
Check, 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 check. Okay, it's check, check, check. There. I don't know what I'm doing. I think I got it now. There, I pushed a lot of... Alright, hold on. I know that this is frustrating, but I'm troubleshooting. I'm turning something off, and now I'm going to wait for the lag to catch up on YouTube, and then I'll listen to my own voice. You're going to hear some crazy Inception level stuff real quick. See? I'm listening to myself. Inception level is what I'm saying. Right, I am. I did. No, that didn't work. Okay, maybe it was the webcam. Yeah, the first check. I have to wait for the lag to catch up again. I tried something else, so we're going to see if it's the mic or if it's the webcam sound or if it's the desktop audio. This is the joys of a live broadcast. I don't have time to troubleshoot. Everyone says it's fixed. Cam. There we go. Yeah. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you. I appreciate your patience. Thank you for letting me know in the comments that we had an issue. I was able to take a brief moment and resolve it. So now we're good to go. Everybody happy? Everyone happy? All right. What was that last question?
Oh, that's a fantastic question. What did I ask?
What was the...
I think we finished the question, didn't we? Did we not just finish the question?
You were in the process of asking me a new one when...
Yeah. Well, I'll assume it was this one. We'll keep moving down the list. Someone let me know if I have missed one. But Dragon Bard asked, Oxhorn, do you plan on playing more Bioshock? Thank you for the videos. You are very inspiring.
That wasn't the question. But,
It wasn't.
Yeah, I'm really enjoying Metro. I'm on a Metro kick. Once I finish this Metro game, I may move on to the next Metro game. Bioshock, I enjoyed what I played of Bioshock. I'm a little lost on the lore, and I realize it's because they throw it at you really quickly, and you gotta piece things together from just these memos that you find littering. It's a I don't know. I will get back to it, but right now I'm really enjoying Metro.
I've come back around. We've refound the lost question. Jalazin, which is a hit comment. He said, do you play games other than first-person shooters?
I mean, I really don't play first-person shooters. I play... Well, I guess Metro is a first-person shooter. I've always traditionally played role-playing games. I've never been a big FPS fan. But here I am playing Metro, so I guess I'm a liar. As for the other games, I don't play any other games than the ones you've seen me play live on this program. In the past, I was big on role-playing games, Heroes of Might and Magic. I was all about that when it came out. Dark Age of Camelot, World of Warcraft for years. That's really it. That's about all the games I play.
Ooh, Crossing J left a tip and asks, do you think Elder McNamara got exiled and wound up in Vault 81, given the current overseer of Vault in Fallout 4, is Gwen McNamara? like a potential descendant? Do you think
No,
it's
because
coincidence?
the amount of time between the events of Fallout New Vegas and Fallout 4 is not that much. Correct me if I'm wrong, but it's less than 10 years because we find McCready. It's only a 10-year difference between Fallout 3 and Fallout 4. We find McCready as an adult in Fallout 4. The events of New Vegas happen only a few years after the events of Fallout 3, so that doesn't give the game lore enough time for Elder McNamara himself to be exiled to the East Coast and to start a family there and then have his daughter grow up to become the overseer of Vault 81. So this is just a situation where I think it's another family named McNamara. Not the same ones.
Another tip from Chris Rhodes, who says, if you had a choice of where to live in Fallout and what faction to join in the entire world, Oxhorn, the entire Fallout world, what would you choose?
I mean, the Minutemen. I think I've gotten this question before, and it's always the Minutemen. They're the only ones, besides the NCR, trying to rebuild society, but they're not corrupt yet. Will they ever become corrupt? As they grow larger, maybe. It tends to be the way with any organization. As it gets larger, as it gets more bureaucratic, it becomes more evil. It just does. It gets bogged down with bureaucracy, and it gets frustrating. Now, the Minutemen are still small, because when you find them, there is only one Minuteman. Does it mean that they'll be small forever? If you're successful and you get the Minutemen to grow, does that mean that they'll become as bureaucratic as the NCR? Who really knows? But I'd say that the best hope for the East Coast, at least, is going to be the Minutemen, and that's the faction I would have most fun working with in real life.
Logan Phelps asks, hey Ox, would you like to voice act in Fallout 5? I suppose I'll add a caveat onto that and say, if you were, what would you like to voice act in Fallout 5?
I've thought a lot about this. I would love...
The inevitable offer comes along from Bethesda.
I would love a role in Fallout 5. Now, I don't want to take Ron Perlman's job, because he does a great job, and he should be the first voice you hear in Fallout 5. But and I also don't think I should be a companion. I'd like to be a radio host. If I was hired to do a voice in Fallout 5, I would love to be the voice on the radio. I think I've got a good radio voice. I would have so much fun recording radio segments for Fallout 5. That's what I would do. But
that's about perfect.
It's a fantasy. It won't ever happen.
Emo Dolphin Memes asks, Oxhorn, do you have an Instagram or any other such social media?
I'm on Twitter. That's one thing that I wanted to say. For those of you who were worrying about my video today, I can't respond to every comment on YouTube asking for where my video was today. But what I do is I make announcements on Discord and Twitter. So this morning, when I knew that I wasn't going to be able to publish my video today, I went onto Twitter and Discord and made a big announcement saying, hey, everybody, no video today. So those are the ones that I use for announcements like that. I do have an Instagram. You'll find it at instagram.com/Oxhorn, but I haven't used it in years. I think I've got old photographs of cigars I smoked and a few beers I drank many years ago. And that's all that's on my Instagram, so I don't do it a lot. I am on Facebook, but again, I'm not a big Facebook person. So I have some robots that automatically post some of my videos to Facebook. So if you want to join my Facebook pages, you're more than welcome to. I just don't personally visit them that often. So your best bet is Twitter or Discord.
And another question from Emo Dolphin Memes. Is there a reason why there isn't another glowing sea-style biodome in any other Fallout? Or biome, sorry.
That's a great question. Well, you know, from everything that I've read, Bethesda really wanted to get away from the look and feel that they established in Fallout 3. They felt, looking back at their game, that it was too bleak. They really wanted it to be bleak and oppressive and heartless, and so they had muted colors, they had this green mist everywhere, and you know, you spend too much time playing the game the way that it was designed, and you walk away going, man, I can only see 3 colors in my vision now, and it was extremely oppressive. So they went away from that with Fallout 4, and they added a little bit of color. They still wanted it to be, they didn't want any plants to be green. That was their big rule of Fallout 4. We learned that from their Art of Fallout 4 book. No plant was allowed to be green, except for glowing fungus. But aside from that, they allowed blue skies. They allowed a wide range of colors in the sky, and that was the big pop of color that they allowed in Fallout 4. And they took away the big haze, the big green haze, which allowed some of the other colors in the architecture and the beautifully colored cars that dot the wasteland to come out. But they wanted one place that maintained the oppressive feel of Fallout 3, and they did that with the glowing sea. So from a gameplay or from a game design perspective, the glowing sea exists as a callback to the original feel of Fallout 3, but an amped up version of that with pools of bubbling nuclear waste and nuclear steam coming from the cracks in the ground. It's such a cool place. From a lore perspective, why would that place exist in Boston? The reason, I believe, is twofold. Number one, there was a huge nuclear reactor in the area. We find the remains of the nuclear reactor on a big hillside, and that likely was one of their targets. The second was the Sentinel site. The Sentinel site is in the glowing sea, and that was a huge military target. In addition to the Sentinel site, we find the hidden underground surveillance bunker in the glowing sea, so there were some distinct military targets there. But, thinking about it now, there was Fort Constantine in Fallout 4, and it exists on a hillside, which is not any more irradiated than anywhere else in Fallout 3. So why would China attack the Sentinel site, which had lower yield nuclear bombs, the Mark 28 bombs, I believe, as opposed to the Fort Constantine, which had the big, bunker-busting, high-yield nuclear C-38 bombs. I forget exactly what the number is. So anyway, that's a good question. I think one of the reasons that it was hit was because of the Sentinel site, but I can't explain why it would have been hit so hard and some of the other important military targets in Fallout 3 were not hit quite as hard.
Question from VaultGuy88. He says, I know it's redundant, but do you think we'll ever see Nate again? I'm assuming he means post-game. Will we find out what happens? Or will he reappear?
I don't think he'll reappear, and I don't want him to. I know that the original Vault Dweller from Fallout 1 reappears in Fallout 2. I know that. I don't like that. And one of the things I don't like about that is it takes away the allure of your own decision making. So, for example, at the very end of Fallout 1, Ron Perlsman refers to the Vault Dweller as a he, which means that if you chose to make your Vault Dweller a female, then it kind of ruins your role playing for that character if it's referred to as a he. And it's the same is true in Fallout 2. When you listen to some of the narration in Fallout 2, it refers to the events in Fallout 1, and it talks about a male Vault Dweller, and then you get to meet that Vault Dweller, and lo and behold, it's a male. And so you kind of lose everything that you built in Fallout 1. If you're trying to weave together a story between the different games based on the characters that you've played there, then those decisions kind of breaks those role-playing decisions that you made. So I prefer the Bethesda and Obsidian way of doing it, where the courier's gender is ambiguous and the decisions that person made or that person is never seen again in another game. I know that there are a lot of theories out there saying that Deacon is the Lone Wanderer from Fallout 3. It's not canon. There's nothing in Fallout 4 that tells us that he's the Lone Wanderer. There are just a lot of really creative fan theories. And I love fan theories like that, but I do not think that Deacon is the Lone Wanderer. There are so many things that don't add up to Deacon being the Lone Wanderer. There are more things we would have to explain away if he was the Lone Wanderer that just wouldn't make sense than there are things that make sense as him being the Lone Wanderer. So, no, I don't think Nate will show up in Fallout 5, and I don't want him to.
Hawkstar has asked, and I should preface this with saying he has threatened to attack us with a leafy twig if he does not get his
A
wish.
lethal twig?
A leafy twig.
Oh, a leafy
It's
twig.
worse than a dry one, because
That's
it's
even
leaves.
worse.
Yes, do you still have the stuffed Brandon doll?
It's on my shelf right there. I can't get up and show it because... Well, I can't get up and show it, but I still have it. Are you the guy that sent it to me? This guy, he made a stuffed plush Oxhorn, me. I've got it on my shelf. I'm proudly displaying it. I've got all the plushes that people have sent to me on display. I can't see it from here. It's blocked by furniture. But yes, I still have it and I treasure it. Thank you very much.
Macinda Thompson asks, what's your favourite Vault lore or story?
Well, I haven't explored them all. So I can't answer that definitively. But I can say the vault that I like the best is Vault 81, just because it's the most functional. That's the vault I would have chosen to grow up in. But the vault that just tears at my heartstrings is Vault 11. That story is just so cruel and heartbreaking that I was moved. And the thing that really sells that world were all of the propaganda posters during the election that covered the walls. Man, it was the added touch we needed to feel the tension and the turmoil that was going on in that little micro society underneath the earth for all of those years. And then at the very end to find out, it was horrible. But that's got to be my favorite story so far. So far.
Question from Heave Ho again asks, who are your most ethical characters that you've encountered so far? The most genuinely admirable across your Fallout experience?
Preston Garvey. He is so admirable that people hate him for being that admirable. But I did an entire video on Preston Garvey, and I tried to defend the guy. I know everybody hates him, but, just if you take a look at what he does and the words that he says and his actions, he's an admirable human being. There's no getting around that. Sure, he's annoying, but he's a good guy. And he's just... I love everything about Preston Garvey, which is why I take him with me. He is my Minuteman character's primary companion. What other characters are noble and admirable? I think Boone is an admirable man. I'm impressed by his character. He's a very flawed man, and he's a haunted man. I wouldn't say that he's a whole man, because he's suffered a lot of tragedy, but he's principled. So he believes that what the NCR is doing is good. He believes in the cause of the NCR, and he'll defend the cause of the NCR, but he recognizes the bad that the NCR has done, which is why Bitter Springs haunts him. It haunts him as a human being, and he can't explain it away. He doesn't try to excuse himself. If you talk with him about the Bitter Springs massacre, of course, at first he doesn't want to talk about it, but once you've gained his trust, he talks about the Bitter Springs massacre as one of his greatest regrets, as something that he's trying to come to terms with, as something that he wouldn't do again if it happened all over again. And that's despite the fact that he still believes in what the NCR is doing. I think he's an honorable man, and I do respect Boone, which is why he was the first companion from Fallout New Vegas that I did a video on, because his story is also another really great, heartbreaking story. Okay, 2 more questions, and then we will move on to... Nick Valentine is also a good one. Paul says Nick Valentine. I do like Nick Valentine. All right, 2 more questions, and then we move on to the game.
All right, they are slowing down a bit, so everyone's got one last minute to throw me one last one.
Okay, one more question, and then we go. Just one more question.
All right. Oh, God, no pressure for me to pick a good one.
Drum roll.
Oh, dear. There's one from Diva here who asks, do you think the Gunners are what's left of the Enclave?
No, I do not think the Gunners are what's left of the Enclave. The Enclave... The remnants are what's left of the Enclave. We meet the remnants in Fallout New Vegas. The Gunners are just a military faction, and I explained them the same way you explain Talon Company in Fallout 3. No one ever asks, well, who is the Talon Company really? Who are they really? Everybody knows that the Talon Company is just the Talon Company. They're a group of mercenaries whose profession it is to take unscrupulous hits on all sorts of people. And it's the same with the Gunners. We really don't need any more backstory than what we've been given, just like we didn't need any more backstory for the Talon Company than what we were given in Fallout 3. Now, I'd covered the Gunners in a series of videos. I had an entire week dedicated to the Gunners, where I produced a lot of videos about the Gunners as a faction and explored their chain of command. And they do have a distinct military culture, a military style and culture, but I don't think that that's because they came from the Enclave, because primarily, if they did come from the Enclave, I would expect them to use more of the Enclave's weaponry. And they don't. They have better weapons than Raiders, but not by much. They don't use a lot of energy weapons. At later times in the game, you can find them using plasma weapons, but they don't use a lot of Exo-1 power armor, certainly. And you'd think that if they were the remnants of the Enclave, that they would. So I think the remnants that we find in New Vegas is really all that there is of the Enclave after Fallout 3. Okay. Now, we have a moment of truth. Let us see if I can get the game running. Let's turn off my music. Let's turn on my small webcam, turn off my big webcam, if my small webcam will work. There it is. There's the small webcam. Okay, now to launch Metro. Cross your fingers. All right, Rev, I can't see my my Open Broadcast Explorer, so I'm going to need you to tell me if for some reason the picture goes down or there's a problem, okay?
As of right now, it's working beautifully.
Perfect. I'm so glad. Where are you? Asks Snipey. I'm exactly where I left off last broadcast. Don't worry, I didn't play without you guys. I want to take you along with me every moment of the game. So let's continue.
Even the apocalypse didn't stop us from killing one another.
And I won't go through that again because I know we've heard it a couple times. So we're back here. I've tried to get through this section 3 times. So here's take number 4. Now, one of the criticisms I got during some of my previous gameplays was that I'm not stopping to hear the stories. So that's what I'm going to do. I've got my sniper pistol here, and instead of just shooting everything, I'm going to go ahead and sneak on in and see if I can overhear some of their stories, okay?
But as honorable soldiers, you are expected to spend forever on the enemy! That's right, Comrade Commissar. The party teaches that only the communist doctrine can show the true path through the tunnels. Only in the name of Lenin can we restore the glory of our metro.
Hey, let's see if there's a, let's see if there's subtitles. It's on. I have subtitles on, but we can't see what he's saying.
And humanity! Only beneath the red banner of the red line can the outcast, the miserable, the unfortunate rise from their knees and march forward! Marxism is the proverbial light at at the end of the tunnel. The party
Say,
teaches
Commissar Comrade,
that...
what does the party teach of the two-headed mutants of the Feely line? Well, so much for the entertainment.
Hey, I'm glad I stopped to smell the roses.
Get your shit together! Follow me!
Here's my wages. I'm just afraid it won't last us long, and we'll die broke.
Enough with the talking! Get out! Form up!
Alright, well, I think that's my cue. Yep, everyone's starting to move, so... Let me head over here. Oop, 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 there they go! Oh, no, 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 no! Oh! They all left! I can explore this top area now. Okay. Nope, there's still one. Is this Fallout? Says that one nerd. No, this is not Fallout. So for those who are new, this is Metro, which is a post-apocalyptic game set in Russia. And I can't turn on my light right now, so I realize it's really dark, but I can't turn it on because I'm stealthing. Sneaking. I'm sneaking. Basically, the plot is right now I am sneaking into this tunnel. The communist Russians and the fascist Nazis are fighting each other, and I haven't taken a side one way or the other. I'm just trying to survive. And so right now these guys, oh no, don't see me. I wonder how close I can get. Now I could take a hold of this. That would be a lot of fun, but... Woo! Look at that! Grease lightning! Is that accurate? No. I've got my AK-47. Oh, I don't want to swap out. I don't want to swap out. No, I can't see a thing! Ah! But I can't turn my light on because then they're going to see me. Alright, well. So my sneaking was successful. And I've explored this top portion here. Which means that we have to go down. Which means I've got to retrace my steps. The way down is over here. I wonder if I can get through this without firing a shot. We'll give it our best go. Woo! Oh! Ooh, two guys right there. But there's some loot. Oh, there's loot there. Can I sneak in and get that loot? Ooh, I don't know.
What a waste.
How did I not get seen? How did I not get seen? I totally should have died right there. But they didn't see me, so I'm not going to complain. Okay.
By the order of the Revolutionary Tribunal, this cowardly maggot has been sentenced to death.
Whoa, wait. I was just trying to outflank them. That's all. Down there, there's a perk in the air. You see it? If you follow these pipes, you will find a manhole in the top. Okay?
You are lying, you piece of crap. This is for your treason.
I'm telling the truth. I swear to God, I even want to grab myself. You send the man down to check it. Please, sir. I've got a wife and a son.
Oh, that's horrible. That is horrible. I totally missed that. Well, I'm glad I stopped to listen to their stories. Poor guy, he says, I have a wife and son.
Happened yesterday? There, and almost got my head blown off. I'll have a nightmare for the rest of my life. If we make it, that is.
I was in the field hospital yesterday. What went on?
Nazi bastards hit us with a backup suicide bombers.
Is there really someone ready to die for them?
Nah, the poor fuckers at that Hans died behind their back. They came running towards our roadblock with the Nazis machine gunning the hell out of them from the back. Our guys thought some comrades had escaped the Nazi prison.
What happened next?
They were yelling and screaming, but no one could make it out. Nazi bitches had cut their tongues out.
Wow.
Jesus.
When our soldiers went to help, they saw the runners were wearing full fucking suits of TNT. Somebody said, hit the deck. I didn't read it. 7 guys in their unit died and blown to hamburger. 4 bombers killed men from the Nazi prison.
7? The last time I heard it was 6.
Then
Ah, it's just a tall tale is what that is.
belly was all torn out.
Okay. Got a key. Now I remember this from last time. There's some wild electricity down there, so I've got to turn that off. Oh, some sort of gas going on down here. Aha! A safe! Look at all of that loot! Ooh, and I got some night vision gogglers. Sweet. Ooh, oh man. But it's a bit too bright for me right now. What's this? I think I've already... Oh, that's for a pistol. No, I like my pistol. I'm not moving. I'm not switching it. Although that does have a... No, I like what I've got. Too bad I can only have 3 weapons at a time. Okay, let's take off my gas mask now. I no longer need it. Let's turn on my night vision now because I'm running around in the dark. Okay, so that's a dead end. I need to find another way out, which means I have to go through all of those Russians. I've got a silencer on this thing, but when I've tried in the past, it's still alerted absolutely everybody. Now, I couldn't help but hear that guy being executed talking about, oh, how am I going to get through these guys without killing them? Oh, look at this. All right. This is going to be really awkward. Okay, hold on. Can I do this?
My own ass. Sticky Canada. What the?
Nope! 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 Ah! Nope, that didn't work. Alright. Well, I gave it a gentleman try. I'm right back where I started, and I'm just gonna have to kill things now. Oh, I'm here! I'm here! That was a checkpoint? Oh, sweet. Oh, I thought I was going to have to start all over. Okay. But now I can't get through this choke point without killing people. It's just not going to happen. Oh. I love this little thing. I think we did it. Okay. There we go. These guys have a lot of weapons. It's great, but I like the weapons I have, so I'm just gonna get ammunition. Oh, looks like I have plenty of that kind of ammunition. What's that? Ooh. Man, I love this little sniper pistol. Ha! It's great. Okay. So I left those guys alive over there. I kind of half-did it. I should have saved that one guy is what I should have done. Someone is shooting at me. Now this isn't me. This was the Germans. Where are the Germans firing from? Ah, there's like a little, oh. This is an amazing little pea shooter. I think I just made all the Nazis mad. Oh no! Ah! I don't have a lot of ammunition left. Gotta start taking off more heads. And I totally failed to do that right then. I've got one shot left. Ah! Oh, where did you come from, you blackguard? I'm just glad they're wearing those lights. Okay, alright, alright. We're doing alright. More ammunition. More cigar. This laser sight is amazing. I love it. But my aim could be way better. The light. Oh man, I'm not gonna be able to hide with that light. Did I pick up any ammunition for my pistol? I didn't. R for the Reich? Is that what that is? What's that? Okay. Now.